Matariki Around the World, A Cluster of Stars, A Cluster of Stories, written by Rangi Matamua and Miriama Kamo, illustrated by Isobel Joy Te Aho-White. Pages 28 and 29. Tipurārangi. While Tipurārangi looks after the foods from the earth, Tipurārangi is all about the food from the skies. That doesn't mean only manu or birds, it's any food growing above the ground, like fruits and berries. When Māori first came to Aotearoa, the whenua, the land, and ngahere forests were alive with the sounds of birds. Māori harvested birds as kai or their food and used the feathers to make kakahu, their clothes, to adorn themselves. Our tipuna ancestors were also partial to the fruits of the forest, which they collected and ate throughout the year. They gave thanks to the star Tipurārangi for all of this kai, but were also guided by what Tipurārangi would suggest. Māori would search for the star in the early morning sky to determine how many birds would be caught during the year, how fat the birds would be, and how many berries would be on the trees. When it was the right time, the birds would be caught and preserved in fat so that they could be eaten all year round. Kaka, tui, titi and kereru were popular birds on the menu. Kereru were the most tasty during the winter, after having eaten a season's worth of ripe berries. Summer was the worst time to catch them because they had been eating kato or the leaves from the trees, and that made them taste bitter. But in the winter, kereru feasted on the berries of the miro tree, and they became fat and tasty. Pretty amazing to think that what the birds ate made them taste better to us. But don't get any ideas. Most native birds are protected from being hunted these days. Traditionally, birds were caught and cooked during Matariki, then preserved in their own fat. There's a whakatauki or Māori proverb that says, Ka kitea a Matariki, kua maoka te hinu, which means when Matariki is seen, it's time to preserve the kereru. The birds were cooked over a fire and their dripping fat would be collected in a container underneath. Once cooked, the birds were placed in containers with their own fat poured over them to preserve them for those winter months when food was more scarce.